The most mysterious wrestler had a very normal childhood in Texas.
Spent quite a lot of time on these basketball courts right here.
People ask me all the time what led me down this dark path of digging holes and taking souls. There wasn't anything.
𝗘𝗙𝗢 likes to look back on this time, but sometimes he gets emotional when he sees old family photos.
My mom was a stay-at-home mom, raised 5 boys, bless her heart.
Brother David's the oldest, Mike, Paul, and Tim. Tim, we lost Tim the day before my last WrestleMania match.
The loss of his brother hit Calloway hard. He was never one to dwell on such things, but he has many memories with him. His father's death was also difficult for him. It was his father that taught him central skills and attitudes that made him into the man he is today.
My dad, hard worker, I think he instilled that work ethic in me from the early age. It was always about respect and hard work and your name and your word. And those things were instilled in me at a really early age.
One evening, the Calloway family went to a wrestling event. As a teenager, Mark was a pretty decent basketball player, but when he saw the ring, the ropes and the wrestlers, it awakened something in him. A fascination that is difficult to explain and describe. But every wrestling fan knows it. Every fan has it. Mark Calloway was a wrestling fan. He loved watching the matches. There was only one thing in the world he loved more: being in these matches himself. His parents were not at all fond of the idea of their youngest son getting into the ring.
You remember taking me and Wayne to Sam Houston Coliseum to watch wrestling?
Big mistake.
Well, it was a somewhat honest living, I guess.
When The Undertaker faced Sid at the beginning of his career, his mother was in the audience. She still regrets it to this day.
And it goes something like, "What are you gonna do, old lady? What are you gonna do? Am I beating your baby boy up?"
Undertaker's mother was furious at Sid's disrespect.
My brother and my dad are grabbing onto her and holding her back. And I kid you not, she had bruises the next day on the inside of her arms from where they were having to hold her back.
Before his time at WWE, The Undertaker wrestled as Mean Mark Callis in WCW, sometimes with Paul Heyman as his manager. The performances did not yet fascinate the fans. There was no mysterious aura to be felt. Taker lacked what made him a big star: his extraordinary gimmick. The WCW bosses were also dissatisfied with him, especially Ole Anderson. But Ole made a mistake. He said something disrespectful that etched itself into Taker's mind.
He goes, "Mark, you're a great athlete, but no one's ever gonna pay money to watch you wrestle."
This statement became a chip on his shoulder. The Undertaker said in interviews it was this discouragement that actually motivated him his entire career. He had to prove the doubters wrong. But above all, this sentence scared him. Taker was afraid that it was true, that no one would pay money to see him wrestle. He had that fear of failure, of not making it. It scared him so much because he loved wrestling deeply. He liked nothing better than to get into the ring in front of a heated crowd. The thought of failure kept him up at night. In fact, Vince McMahon, the CEO of WWE, wasn't blown away with Mean Mark Callis at first. Vince saw his match against Lex Luger in 1990. Taker was struggling with a dislocated hip and was in a lot of pain. Well, Vince didn't know that. The wrestling mogul saw a generic big man, a red-headed giant without much potential. His saving grace was the approval of Paul Heyman. He stood up for Calloway, and so, a life-changing meeting took place.
I meet with Vince. It seems like it's going really well.
What was supposed to be a 30-minute meeting ended up going 4 hours.
The incredibly nervous Mark Calaway sat opposite Vince McMahon for hours. Immediately, the two developed a special connection, and Calaway's biggest dream came true. Vince offered him a contract.
Vince really fell in love with the human being, Mark Calaway.
How could that man walk into a room and someone like Vince McMahon with all of his big visions not go, ka-ching?
They came up with a work of creative genius, a gimmick with history written all over, a wrestling character with unparalleled charisma, The Undertaker.